Welcome to Homegrown Handmade. I'm Allison, and today we're going to be making a Christmas tree garland. The first thing that we're going to be doing to make this garland is drying out our orange slices. And so I have 4 oranges here. We're going to slice them up. We're going to use our oven to dry them out. I already have my oven preheated to 215 degrees Fahrenheit. It's around 100 degrees Celsius. We want it low because we don't want to actually cook the fruit. We just want to dry the moisture out of it. The other equipment that you're going to need: cutting board, knife to cut your oranges, and a baking tray. In addition to my baking tray, I have an oven-proof rack. This is actually a cooling rack that I use, but it's oven safe. And I'm going to use that because all those little slats on there is going to allow the heat in the oven to kind of circulate around my oranges and dry them out a little bit more quickly. If you don't have access to an oven-proof drying rack, you can always use parchment paper. You'll do a couple hours and then you'll have to flip the orange slices and dry them a couple more hours on the opposite side. And the other thing that I'm adding today are organic whole cloves. And really, I'm just gonna put some cloves into the orange slices because it's gonna make my house smell really nice and it's gonna make my garland smell really nice too. So we're gonna do this part first and then I'll show you what it all looks like. First thing I'm gonna do is take my orange and I'm gonna slice it into about 1/4 inch thick slices. So you can see about 1/4 inch thick there. I'm gonna go down as much as I can on the entire orange. So I have all my oranges sliced and they're arranged on my baking sheet. I'm just gonna start adding some cloves. Okay, and we're just gonna take 1 clove and stick it right in the center of our oranges. And this is really just gonna make it smell really nice. So now that I have all my cloves into my oranges, I'm just gonna put them in the oven. Again, I have that oven set for 215 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're gonna let those go low and slow for about 2 hours. So the oranges have been in the oven for about 2 hours now. They smell incredible. So I wanna take a peek on them and see if they are done yet. Looks like just about, not quite. I think what we'll do is we'll give them 1 more hour and then we'll check back on them again. So it's been 3.5 hours and I'm just about to check the oranges again. I'm pretty sure by now they should be done. So let's see how they're looking. Oh yeah, they look good. You can see how these are a little bit translucent. This is what we're looking for. There's a few that maybe were cut a little thicker and we're just gonna leave them sit out overnight and I think they'll be fine in the morning. So it's the next day. My orange slices sat out overnight and all those ones that were slightly juicy still have all dried out completely. So I'm really happy with the way those turned out. And today, now we're gonna make our garlands. So the items that I need for that, I have a large bowl, or this is actually a medium-sized mixing bowl for my cranberries. I ended up buying 6 bags of these cranberries. These are all 12-ounce bags. I got them at Walmart for about $2. Our tree is around 6 feet tall. I don't know if we're going to need all 6 bags, but if we have extras, then we're just gonna make some cranberry sauce after. The other thing that we need is some fishing line. I just bought some really cheap fishing line, nothing fancy. Again, this was around $2 at Walmart. And the reason you're gonna want something like a fishing line is because with it being more plasticky, obviously it's water tolerant or waterproof, and your cranberries are going to have some juice in them, so you're going to want a string that's not gonna get gross from being with the juices from the cranberries. And then the last thing that we got were some large-eyed needles. And the reason I needed some large eyes is to accommodate the thickness of the fishing line for stringing our cranberries on here. So let's get started. The first orange is always the hardest because as you can see, your fishing line wants to tangle up on you. Actually, I'm not sure you can see that, but it's all twisted and tangled up. So the first is always the most challenging, which is why I wanted to make sure I showed you how to do that. So I'm gonna go through my orange. I'm actually gonna go in from the top side, the side that I want facing out. I'm gonna poke in with my needle. I'm gonna pull it all the way down the length of my fishing line, and it has this tendency to want to tangle up on you. So just be patient with it. Once I get to the end there, I'm gonna take my needle. I'm hoping you can see this on the camera. I'm gonna go back through the exact same hole that I brought it through the first time. And I'm actually holding on to the end of my string here, if you can see my loop, so that it doesn't pull through. This is just gonna really secure the orange on here so that it doesn't pull off the end of my garland. So now that I have that side done, my string you can see is coming out here through the back of my orange. I'm gonna pull it across. I'm gonna pick another one of these wedges just directly across from the first one I did. I'm gonna stick my needle in through the back, pull it all the way through, and it's okay if your orange wedge, you can see the fruit is kind of pulling open there. That's okay, because your rinds, if you cut your orange slices to be about a 1/4 inch thick, like I said, the rinds are really, really secure when tough when they're dry, so they're not gonna pull through. So I pulled all the way through the front. Now I'm gonna go back in the same hole that I started before. And again, I'm gonna pull my fishing line all the way through. Whoop. It does get sticky as you work with it too, so just be mindful, you might have to wash your hands a few times. But now, a little loop. Now you can see that it's strung on here like this. This is my loop for hanging, and it's nice and secured. Nothing's gonna fall off the end of my garland. I'm gonna take my cranberry, and I'm actually, you would think you'd wanna go through the top here, but you're gonna hit so much resistance, your cranberries are actually gonna split. So it's better to go through the side. Be mindful of your finger as you poke through. But you're just gonna go about in the middle, and then pull your cranberry down through on the fishing line. I just finished our first string, and this is what the finished product's gonna look like. You can see there's some space between some of the oranges and the cranberries. That's natural, they're gonna settle. It's mostly because I'm holding it up like this and gravity pulls them down, the weight of them. But as they drape on the Christmas tree, you can space out those cranberries more, or if you wanted to add some cute little like bows or things like that, you can feel free to do that as well. So now I've got my first one done. We're gonna go ahead and finish the others.